Matt O'Neill Real Estate is one of the top-ranked real estate firms in the country, having sold over $2 billion in real estate. Today, I talk one-on-one with the founder and CEO of this firm, Matt O'Neill, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Matt O'Neill, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
What's up, man? Excited to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you're known here in the Low Country as the CEO of Matt O'Neill Real Estate, and of course, the host of the Matt O'Neill Good Move Revolution, which is a highly successful podcast. And I know that it's on OHM Radio 96.3 FM as well.
Yeah, that's right, man. We're on OHM. Yeah, those super cool folks over there.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And it's good to have you with the OHM family as well. And of course, we all know that your firm is one of the top ranked real estate agencies in the country. For 3 consecutive years, the company has been recognized as a top 10 place to work in South Carolina. You have also won Charleston's Best Realtor 5 times. And of course, with over $2 billion in real estate sold, a 5-star average rating on over 1,500 reviews, and you've actually served over 5,000 families over the past couple of years. So tell me, Matt, what's new? What's now with you?
Man, I do love the Charleston community. I grew up in Michigan. And so I grew up in the cold. And people from Michigan are really cool people. People from they call it the Midwest, and people are really nice and they look out for each other. And I kind of had that. I kind of had that coming up. And then, but I wanted to move. I didn't want to just be in Michigan the rest of my life. And I wanted to go someplace that was going to be someplace I wanted to be. We used to drive our car from the suburbs of Detroit. And I grew up about an hour north of Detroit. And we would drive 14 hours down to Florida to the beach.
Yes.
And I thought, man, why do we get to go to the beach once every 5 years and then live in the snow and the cold? What if I lived at the beach? And then I would just vacation to the snow and the cold. And so when I was 25 years old, I moved here to beautiful Charleston, South Carolina to be close to the beach. Ended up meeting my wife 3 years later. We have 4 kids, and I started Matt O'Neill Real Estate at that same time. So this was 2005. It's been 20 years. And just put 20 years of hard work and effort into being the best I could be for the people of Charleston and selling this community to people who wanted to move here and people who already lived here. And after 20 years, we've turned into an overnight success, and it worked out really well.
What is the biggest difference about real estate in Charleston from 2005 to right now, Matt?
It has changed every single year, Quintin. Every year has been different and challenging. So I got into real estate in 2005. There was a boom.
Yeah.
And things were booming, and that was nice. And then in 2007, things were sliding. And then in 2008, things were getting pretty ugly. And then in 2009, I was sitting at kitchen tables with people that were losing their house. And my conversations were pretty tough. It was, hey, your house isn't worth what you paid for it, and families were breaking up, and people were losing their jobs, and it was a really hard time. But I was able to serve people at that time. And then things started to turn around in 2012, but people didn't believe that they were turning around, but they were. And then we kind of had some sustained growth in the Charleston real estate market from 2012 until 2020. And COVID happened, right? It was crazy. It's 5 years ago now. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
COVID happened 5 years ago to this month.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like, it kind of seems like it was yesterday still, but it was 5 years ago. And then what that did, though, is it sent a lot of people home. And then they had a lot of extra money in their pocket because the stimulus money. And then they all said, well, I need a bigger house. And so the frenzy to buy things, and houses being one of the things they bought, created just a crazy environment. And people were saying, hey, I'll give them $100,000 over full price just so I can get in. Well, they were really smart, because what happened is those prices went up so much that everybody who bought a home during that frenzy has made money on it. But the frenzy has kind of slowed down. And so now here we are in 2025, and it's a new market. And the new market is adjusting to that post-COVID craze. I kind of think we're probably looking at a market that's going to soften a little bit on price this year. Maybe not. Maybe it might just hold steady. But what I've just described since 2005 to now is that every single year has had a unique shape, and that's what's fun is you get to stay on top of what's happening in each individual year.
What exactly is you and your team's approach to this post-COVID turnaround with obviously housing and other issues such as inflation?
Yeah, yeah. What we know is that people need to buy and sell houses here in Charleston. And there will be 16,000 homes most likely bought and sold here in Charleston this year.
Wow.
And those people need representation. They need a good agent that's going to help them market that home and find them the right buyer. And if they're moving here, they need a good agent to teach them the different areas of town and tell them what Charleston's all about and help them find the right house. And we're excited to be that agent for those people that are looking to move, and they just don't stop moving. So, and even with the interest rates, right? Interest rates were 7% last year. They're a little bit softer this year, but people still they have babies, they get married, their families expand, they retire. They might lose a loved one. They might get divorced. So these life events cause natural reasons for people to move, and we just like to be there to serve them at whatever stage they're in.
How do you actually market a house these days, Matt?
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. You just gotta look at the house and say what makes this thing valuable.
Mm.
And that for us, that starts with we'll look at a house, and because we've been doing this, now for 20 years, we're really good at it. Look at a house and say, what's the most unique thing about this? Why would somebody love it? And then we bring in Charleston's #1 interior designer, and she says, all right, well, we need to paint this door, or we need to spruce this up, or we need to bring in some landscape, and that'll make this aspect of the home shine. And then I hired the #1 photographer in Charleston. He's on staff with me, Matt Parker. He used to take pictures for Beyonce and Jay-Z on their yacht. Like, this guy's legit. And now Matt takes pictures of all the houses for us. And so he takes beautiful aerial photos and beautiful twilight photos, and he makes these different aspects of the house just really shine. And then we put that in front of people who are moving here. And I do that with like 100,000 different Google pay-per-click search terms.
Yes.
And then with our YouTube channel. So I'm attracting people moving to Charleston in many different ways: social media, YouTube, and then Google. And then we just put our houses in front of those people, and that's how we sell them.
Wow. So, Matt, who exactly is moving to Charleston these days?
Everyone who has been moving here. Hey, I love looking at where they come from. Right? The #1 place they've been coming from recently has been New York, New York State, New Jersey. It was prior to that, they were coming here from Georgia, like Atlanta and Charlotte.
Right.
And that makes sense, right? But we're also seeing some people from California come here. Definitely, there's that. When I first moved here, there was bumper stickers. Do you remember those bumper stickers?
Right.
They say, "Go back to Ohio."
Right.
They were really talking to me. They were like, "Go back to Michigan." But it was this sentiment that a lot of people from Ohio were coming here. Well, they are. Right. People from Chicago, the Midwest, Michigan, Ohio, they're coming here. Pennsylvania, they're coming here. But yeah, right now the #1 thing is New York and New Jersey.
Wow. So what exactly is their reason for moving to Charleston besides obviously the beaches and the Southern hospitality?
Dude, you named it, Quentin. You.
Oh.
Your happy smile.
Oh, no, it's you.
It's the reason people love Charleston is the people. It's the nicest, most friendly, it just feels so good to be around the people here, and it's people are happy. And maybe it's because the sun's shining, maybe it's because the city's beautiful, maybe it's because the food scene is nice, maybe it's because the beaches are here, maybe it's because industry is so good and the leaders of our town have positioned us with a great hospital system. There's a lot of different factors, but people are happy here. And when people visit Charleston, they just feel this vibe of the people here just being so happy that they get attracted to that vibe. And I think that's the reason that so many want to move to the city.
Wow. So how do we keep up with this, hospitality and beaches and all of these other, infrastructure, and have this in place 5, 10 years from now?
They're working on it, man. I used to be really involved with the Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce, and I can tell you we got a lot of forward thinkers in the planning of Charleston. They're constantly thinking about how we can keep our infrastructure up, create density in housing, which is really important because we need people. You know, the roads will have less traffic if people can live closer to where they work, and that's a housing density thing, and that's an important thing for us to continue to think about. But yeah, you know, it's just a little bit difficult because we got a lot of bridges.
Yes.
We got a lot of rivers, a lot of waterways, and a lot of bridges. So
Sure.
so then that makes widening these roads a little bit more difficult.
Mm. Yeah, and that's becoming a problem right here. I'm actually near the Charleston County, Dorchester County line right here, so I know all about that very, very well. Where exactly, Matt, do you and your team look at right now as far as where density should be in the Charleston area?
Hmm. Yeah, no, density needs to be everywhere in the Charleston area, and specifically, we need affordable housing
Mm.
downtown. Look at how expensive it is to rent an apartment downtown. But how many people are servers and waiters and school teachers and like part of the industry that makes downtown work?
Yeah.
And so if we can have some housing close to where they work,
Mm.
great. And that would be density on James Island.
Oh, yeah.
That would be density in Mount Pleasant because
Sure.
again, Mount Pleasant is a big area, but these places serve downtown. It's more density in North Charleston,
Right.
and North Charleston is booming right where you are right now, man.
Yes.
That area is on fire. It's
Yeah.
so that is such a fun and popular area. It's a really good area to invest in.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, we're starting to see that right around the hub of the peninsula, that everything around that hub of the peninsula is becoming more and more valuable because that's really the hub of Charleston.
Oh, absolutely. Boy, I was thinking about this too, Matt. But what is it? Does this area really need affordable housing, attainable housing, or workforce housing?
All of it. Yeah, all of it. Yeah, workforce housing, affordable housing, attainable housing. It's difficult, man. I just ran the average sales price for a house on James Island, 700,000.
On James Island. Wow.
Crazy. It
Yes.
was it was crazy. Half the houses on James Island sold for over 700 and half sold from 400 to 700 with the least expensive that needed a ton of work at
Mm.
400,000, and this was the last year. So Charleston has become and then you look at that with the interest rate,
Right.
and it's hard for working people to be able to afford to live close to downtown, right? And so this is also what it would look like close in West Ashley. Of course, Mount Pleasant's going to be beyond that in prices. So would Daniel Island, and
Mm.
that's why North Charleston's getting more expensive.
Mm.
A lot of people are saying, okay, well, I'll just move to North Charleston. It's close, and Hanahan's becoming more expensive. So
Oh,
that the prices all around Charleston, and then look at Somerville, man. Like
right.
it's hard to get a house in Somerville right now for less than 450,000.
Ooh.
It's crazy, but yeah. So housing is an issue, and it's an affordability problem.
Whoa. I'm surprised by James Allen. Oh my God! But I can tell, people love the serenity out there, so that I can see why. Where else in the Low Country, Matt, do you see prices ticking up, or where people want to actually move to?
Hmm. Yeah, the biggest area of growth has
Mm.
been east of the Cooper.
Mm.
So price growth has been really high. Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palms, Mount Pleasant, Daniel Island. But we're starting to see a softening of the market on the highest price points.
Mm.
So the 5 million plus, those homes are starting to sit longer, and we're starting to see those ones come down and accept less per asking price than they had in the years past.
Wow. Have you and your team been able to track how many homes have actually been sitting out there for that long?
Yeah, we can do it by area. And that's what's interesting is that each area is unique and different.
Yeah.
And so, like I just studied James Island today, which is why it's fresh on my mind.
Mm.
There's only 2 months supply of homes on James Island.
Mm.
That's not many. that means prices on James Island are still going to keep going up.
Wow.
Yeah, but we're probably around 2 months supply in Mount Pleasant as well. Some areas that might have a little bit more supply are 29414 further out in West Ashley.
Yes.
Goose Creek, I think, has got the supplies coming up a little bit. But each specific area we need to look at because it's each its own microcosm of an economy. As a whole, though, Charleston does have like 4,000 homes on the market. And how this looks, just to give you like some numbers.
Cool.
Pre-COVID, we had about 4,000 homes on the market. Once COVID hit, we got down to only 900 homes on the market. That's why prices went through the roof. Now we're back in this environment where we have about 4,000 homes on the market. When I got into real estate in 2005, we had about 4,000 homes on the market. When prices went crazy, 2006, 2007, inventory was going up to like 6,000 or 7,000 homes on the market. And we've still been selling about the same, like 15, 16,000 homes. So the pace of sale hasn't really, except during the COVID years, the pace of sale has remained pretty consistent. So what that tells me with 4,000 homes is that we're in a normal, sustainable market right now, where I think prices are going to be what they used to be like from the 2012 to 2019, which is we saw like 3 to 4% price growth a year.
Wow. And this is probably a redundant question, but where do you see that price growth going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I can't tell. This is crazy, is that we just don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. My 20 years in real estate has been, there's been so much variety and so many, it's big world events. Yeah. It's big economic world events that spark things. Like, who could have predicted that there was going to be a global pandemic and we would wear masks every single day? We couldn't predict that. Who could have predicted that there was going to be an economic crash? Well, people said there was a bubble, right? So I don't know what the next big event is in the next 5 years. It could be a hurricane. Hopefully it's not, but that would certainly disrupt our home prices. All I can say is I think this year we're probably in for like 4% price growth, and then we'll take next year as it comes.
As it comes. And for the average person who won't be able to watch this particular interview, Matt, how do you get that information? Well, how do you translate that real estate information into your podcast with Good Mood Revolution?
Well, two separate things. So the Good Mood Revolution was a spiritual calling.
Oh.
I was called to help people live happier lives. And so I spent 4 years writing that book before my children woke up. And it launched in December. And it was a #1 bestseller in 7 different categories. And every single day I'm reading reviews from people who are saying I was struggling. And the words in this book have really helped me feel better about my situation in life. And so the book was written to help people who were struggling mentally. I wrote it during the COVID years when a lot of the world was struggling a lot mentally. But the mental struggles haven't gone away just because we took our masks off. So the book is about how to live a life of conscious happiness and find more happiness in our lives, even as things aren't going the way we want them to. But it has nothing to do with real estate.
Real estate, okay. I'm so sorry about that. But what more have you learned about people in society and their struggles now that you've written this book and you actually have the podcast?
Yeah, the podcast, I've had a chance to interview 170 of the world's leading experts on happiness and emotions. I've learned so much. And the biggest thing I've learned is that everyone has struggled. And everyone has struggled or is struggling or is in for a struggle. And that those external challenges don't affect our attitude about them. And so our greatest gift is our ability to choose our attitude in spite of what our external struggles might be. The other big learning for me is that the struggles were never sent here to harm us.
Right.
Every struggle was sent here to help us. It was sent here to help us grow. And when we start to see them through that perspective, it becomes less painful and more empowering.
Wow, that's really, really amazing. I know you're busy, so I got to let you go. But how can people get a hold of your book, and how can people tune into your podcast?
Yeah, the book is on Amazon. Good Mood Revolution: Igniting the Power of Conscious Happiness.
Mm.
Podcast is on Apple, Spotify, everywhere people listen to podcasts. It's also called Good Mood Revolution. And then people who want to talk real estate, man, that's what we do every single day. They can just go to mattoneillrealestate.com or find us at our address, 1349 Old Georgetown Road in Mount Pleasant.
Yes.
Or just give us a call from Google. We're happy to help anybody with those questions.
Wow, that's really amazing. Well, Matt O'Neill, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thanks, Quintin.
Thank you.